Hello Adventure Groupies. This video is going to be a little bit different from the other videos that I provide. In this particular video, I'd like to just cover an aspect of why we harden parts for our cars, our transmission components, engine components, and so forth. I used to work for a company called Taco for about 30 years. And in that company, I dealt a lot with Ford, Chrysler, General Motors, as well as John Deere and Komatsu Dresser tractors. With those companies, we supplied equipment that would harden parts for them so that they could put them in their product so that their vehicles could go longer distances and not wear out. And the process that we sold was called induction heating. At the same time, I ran a heat treat shop here in Indianapolis. And there was a news guy by the name of Dick Wolfsey and his dog Barney. And they would do segments around the Indianapolis area of various companies. I contacted Dick back in 2001 and asked him if he'd be interested in filming at my facility and showing the induction heating process. He told me he'd consider it. About maybe 2-3 weeks later, he calls me up and he says, "Hey, I just had a cancellation and I think I'm going to go ahead and book your facility." He said, "It better be worth it." I said, "Let me tell you, you come to my facility, it will be worth it, and a lot of the viewers will enjoy it." We had to set up our facility at 4 a.m. in the morning to start filming. So what I'm going to be showing you is an excerpt of those videos he made back in 2001, in fact January of 2001, where we demonstrated what we called the single shot process as well as the scanning process. Another reason why I wanted Dick Wolfsey to be at our facility to film our location and what we do, I had a competitor in the area, and I knew that those guys watched Dick on TV in the mornings in their break room. I found out later when I hired one of their guys that they were sitting in the break room that morning watching Dick, and we came up on the video segment and they almost spit their food out or breakfast in the morning. I thought that was kind of interesting. So I was able to accomplish what I wanted to do and send a message to my competitor that, hey, we also do parts. One thing I want to mention in this segment is back in the late 90s, I was approached by Chrysler in regards to their output shaft, which you'll see in this video, that they were having some issues. They came to me and told me that when a Dodge Viper came up against a Chevy Corvette, that for some reason the Chevy Corvette would win because the Dodge Viper's transmission shaft would snap in half. And they said that that was not good for them, and that somebody paying $50,000 for a Viper back in the late 90s didn't want a transmission shaft to snap. So we came up with the single shot approach for them, and it worked out great. They used that single shot approach for many of their vehicles on their Chrysler product line. There may be some viewers on this channel that may be interested in induction heating or hardening of parts. And like I said, it's a short excerpt, and I figured it would just be entertainment for you. I was a lot younger back in 2001. And I figured it would just be interesting to show it to you. I hope you enjoy it.
Live from Wish TV, this is News 8, your 24-hour news station.
Wake up, Indiana. It's Wednesday, January 24th. A little cooler day is waiting outside your door as we...
Good morning, everybody. Dave and Pam, good morning.
Hey, Dick.
Hey, you know, guys, you like hot food, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, now we're at a place called Taco.
Oh, good.
But it's not Taco Bell.
Oh.
But things are going to get very hot, I promise.
Sounds good.
All right.
Wake up, Indiana. It's Wednesday.
Next on Daybreak.
Well, good morning, everybody. And Dave, you'll be particularly interested in this.
Yeah, Dick.
See all these items on the table?
Yes.
You know what they all have in common?
They came from your garage.
No, they came from your car this morning, actually. They did. No, they have something else in common. We'll tell you about it.
Hey, it's 5:54 on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for being with us. Randy says it will be cooler today. We may even see some flurries. Well, it's tool time with Dick Wolfsey this morning. Let's check in with him.
That's right. Good morning, everybody. We are on the east side of Indianapolis, and with me is Gary Tice at a company called Taco. We won't do any more jokes about that, I promise. But we will show this table, which I showed in the tease. To start us off, everything on this table does have one thing in common. Gary, what is it?
That's induction heating.
Induction heating. Everything has been inducted, so to speak.
Correct.
Is that correct? Which is what you do here. What does that mean?
What we're doing is we're actually hardening the part. We're taking a material that's just soft and we're inductively heating it to make it stronger.
How hot do you make it?
We go up to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit.
Now, this is what I'm confused about. A month ago, I was showing a process where they make things cold to make them hard.
Exactly.
I'm so confused. What,
Every part requires some type of heating.
Yes.
Then it gets cooled, but then there's super cooling to get it even better, to get it even stronger.
But this happens first.
This happens first, correct.
A lot of car parts you do for the major automobile company.
That is correct.
Okay. Would you show us how that happens?
Sure.
This is so cool. You're going to see this all morning, different things. Now tell us what you're going to do here.
We have a transmission shaft here that we are going to be heating the entire shaft at one time in 6 seconds.
6 seconds?
6 seconds.
That's my kind of segment. Because I don't usually get much longer than that. Okay, watch this. Now how hot's it going to get?
1800 degrees.
All right.
Dick, he's got to get his hand out of there fast,
Yeah,
doesn't
that
he?
makes me nervous.
Here we go. Now tell us what's happening here.
Okay, we are right now heating with the high frequency.
Oh, my goodness.
And as it gets up to temperature, it will quench.
Oh! We're in a car wash.
We're in a car wash. The quenching process is required to cool it rapidly so that it retains the heat treatment we stuck in it.
So that's not water.
That is not water,
It's
no.
more than water. It's a
more
chemical.
Yes, you have to use a chemical in there. If you use water strictly, it will crack apart.
Okay, now, how deep does that induction go? Or is that something that you determine?
We can control the depth. In this particular case, we're heating almost 1/4 of an inch into the material.
Now, is that still hot?
No, you can go in here.
Oh, you're kidding. You can't. Oh, my, don't do that! Seriously?
Slightly warm, but
It is warm. Okay, now, once again, because we're going to do more of this later on in the program, this is now a better piece because
it's been induction heated.
And therefore it won't.
It will not crack. It'll last longer in your car.
Okay, and many parts, your windshield wipers?
Oh, we do windshield wiper components, engine components, axle shafts on cars, steering mechanism on cars.
Okay, now take a shot over there. That's your cohort Dan. Now what's Dan going to show us over there?
He is going to be showing a process that we do called scanning a steering rack.
A steering rack.
Right. This process was called single shot, where we heat it at one time. This process scan heats the product.
Okay. All right, David, Pam, pretty cool, huh?
Very cool.
Pretty hot.
And that, well, not hot now, but
Yeah.
we'll show you some more. This is kind of fun. We'll see you later.
All righty.
All right.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dick.
Thanks, Dick.
We're getting plenty of emails now about the...
It's interesting that also Dick calls my supervisor Dan. His name is actually Dave Bertrand. I was thinking over the years why he kept referring him to Dan, and then it came across to me that we had a representative in Indiana called Dan Burton. Not Bertrand, but Burton. And if you look, maybe Dick did some interviews with Dan and just kept getting Dan and Dave's name mixed up. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So his name is Dave Bertrand.
Hey, David, Pam, they're going to let me do it one more time, okay?
Yeah, Dick.
Okay, Dick.
Here we go. Watch this. It's worth the wait. Here we go. Woo! Yikes! Yo!
1800 degrees Fahrenheit.
1800. Isn't that something?
That's hot. We'll check in with Chopper 8 pilot
Dick Wolfsey at Taco. That's what they call this place. This is an induction scanning system. You're not going to believe what we're going to show you. Stay with us.
622. It's Wednesday. Dick Wolfsey with a really hot segment today. Hey, Dick.
Yeah.
We got an email, and
Yes.
a woman wondered, do they do those parts one at a time, or is there a way to do a bunch at once?
Well, that's a good question. And let me just say, for those who just joined us and I'll answer it, this is the Ohio Crankshaft Company, Taco. Started about 70 years ago, obviously, in Ohio. And with me is Gary. Gary, somebody emailed in and wanted to know if you do these parts individually or you can do them in mass. You do it so quickly, though.
Right. We can do it both ways.
Yeah.
When they say mass, possibly, they're talking about furnace treating, where you do it
Right.
all at one time. We do it one piece at a time.
One piece at a time. We want to go to another process, but very quickly, this is where the power comes from.
That is correct.
Yeah.
The power supply that you saw seating the part over there was 600 kilowatts. That's 600,000 watts of power. To kind of give you an idea what that means, a radio station that puts out 50 kilowatts, this unit would duplicate 12 radio stations.
Oh my gosh, okay, that's where the power comes to induct and heat these items. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'm going to walk over here to your cohort here, and this is Dave Bertrand. Good morning, sir. What do you got in your hand there?
This is a rack and pinion, or a rack for a rack and pinion system.
And we're going to induct this.
Yeah, this is going to be a scanning operation, which is a uniform hardness, but it's selective in the area it's heating at that time.
This will make it harder, more resilient, etc., right?
Yeah, surface hardened.
Put it in there. Let's put it in there and see how this works. And as Dan is doing this, okay, now the difference here, Dan, is that we're not doing this all in one shot. Is that right?
Yes, as you can see, it's moving down at the bottom, and it immediately, as you can see, heats up the part a little area at a time.
So this takes a little longer than the other process.
Yes, it is, but it's more cost efficient.
More cost efficient, okay. But you are doing the entire shaft, is that correct?
Yes, just like before.
All right. And how hot again will this get?
About 1,800 degrees.
1,800 degrees. Now, once this is cool, this is ready to go out and be placed in the car, is that right? Or something else has to be done to it?
Once it gets finished ground at the automotive plant, then it's ready to go into a finished product.
It's all done. Cool, okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the other device in the first segment for those who missed it, because that's pretty dramatic as well. We're also going to talk about, you know, when people come in with an odd part or something new, you have to actually make a new coil, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Every part requires a new coil.
All right, and we'll talk about how they do that.
That is correct.
That will be in the last segment. Back to you guys.
All right, very good. Thanks, Dick.
Dick Wolfsey on the east side of Indianapolis at Taco Inc. And Dave and Pam, you're good at figuring out what things are used for. We'll tell you what this is. Maybe you can guess when we come back.
Looks like a huge paper clip.
Looks like you could heat a cup of coffee with it. You know, one of those. Wake up, Indiana. It's Wednesday, January 24th.
Dave and Pam, good morning.
Hey, Dick.
Hey, Dick.
Things are pretty cool here right now, but could you check back with me in about 2,000 degrees, okay? We'll be back. Back to you.
All right, very good. Thank you, Keith. Well, some like it hot, and Dick has found some of those people. Dick, a question for you, though. These auto parts that we're seeing this morning, do they go to a particular automaker? Or
Yes, they go to a number of automakers.
Okay.
They deal with all of the major auto companies. That's a good question. In fact, while we're talking about, let me show you this. Gary Tice has explained to me this is a part of a transmission shaft.
That is correct.
And this is one of the items that you will superheat with your induction method. There seems to be a ring around it. Why is that?
The area that we're heating is what you're actually seeing on that part is a hardened zone. Below that zone is just the state of the existing material.
You don't want to induct the entire thing.
No, if you through heat, you get into cracking. You don't want to do that. You want some toughness left in the center.
Okay, now we saw this earlier. We're going to show it again for our new viewers. But you are doing a transmission shaft. Supposing you had something else you wanted to do, it won't fit in there.
Right. We'd have to build a different coil for what application comes in. And here's just some examples. This coil right here does a axle shaft, square bar axle shaft. This coil right here does the flywheel that goes on your transmission that actually starts your engine. So there's a different coil for each part.
So you put that in there or a piece of equipment like that, and then you can do virtually any piece, but you have to make it to order.
Yes.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Somebody comes in with a new piece of a new item, you have to make a new
coil, right.
Okay,
right.
Let's step over here. Can I get to push this?
Yes.
Okay, now once again, for our new viewers, how hot's this going to get?
1,800 degrees Fahrenheit.
1,800 degrees, and it's going to, this is called the induction method to harden the material. Here we go. This is kind of cool to watch. And you do this all day. Did I not? Oh, here we go. I thought I did it wrong. Whee! And again, that's not water. If that was water, what would happen?
The part would crack. We have to add a chemical to the water so that it cools it not too drastically to cause cracking.
And here's the amazing thing. It was almost 2,000 degrees.
Yep.
And now you're going to take that out and hand it to me, aren't you?
That's correct.
Here, let's do it. And as a result of this process, it's more resilient, it's tougher, and I can actually hold it. There we go. And Dave, you know, as I always do when I go someplace, I'll bring back a crankshaft for everybody.
Oh, that'll be great,
How's
Dick.
that, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, tomorrow's cool. We're going to show you all the new babies at the Indianapolis Zoo, okay?
All right.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks. See you, Dick.